Hi, in today's lesson, we're going to talk about civilizations. We're going to look at some of the earliest civilizations known to man and also talk about the 5 key characteristics that go into creating a true civilization. So make sure you're following along in your interactive notebook. Okay, so we'll be on page 4 of your interactive notebook. So we talked about in the last video, Agricultural Revolution, that farming starts to lead to larger communities. The idea that we're farming more and we're having success with farming, people are starting to band together and they're less nomadic. So that's going to create bigger villages that's going to go on and help to foster this growth of civilization. With these growths come economic changes and social changes. So if we break down economic changes, basically there's a couple of things that are happening that help to increase the economy. For example, these people living in ancient times start to build irrigation systems to help increase food production. They realize that the better the crops get water, the more they grow. And so they figure, okay, let's find better ways to get water to the plants. They also start to see that these food surpluses, having more food, having a bigger supply of food, is going to free up some people. Not everybody has to continue farming. We can start to delegate, we can start to specialize and open up to new skills and create new trades. So we start to see craftspeople, they make cloth and other objects, and we see trade come. And we start to see profit from these exchange of goods. The invention of the wheel and the sail also help foster transportation. With greater transportation, more trade, better economy. Social changes, we also see social classes start to develop, and we also have religion becoming more organized, more practiced, more, we'll say, put together, having clear definition. So civilizations start to develop. And if we define the word civilization, it's basically a complex culture with 5 key characteristics. So in order to be a true civilization, you have to follow these 5 rules or have these 5 features. They have advanced cities, specialized workers, complex institutions, record keeping, and advanced technology. So let's dive a little bit deeper and break down each one of these. We're also going to use what historians credit to be the first known civilization to man, Sumer, as sort of a case study here. So as we refer to things, we're talking about Sumer. Sumer was located in ancient Mesopotamia, which is approximately current-day Iraq. Advanced cities. So cities are our first birthplaces of civilization. With larger populations, we start to see cities arise. They become the centers for trade and for the larger area. Now, don't think that a city has to be this huge metropolis in order for it to be categorized as a city. It's just, you want to think about this is the place where people are coming to market, where multiple villages or smaller outside communities are converging in as a center of economic trade, commerce, and socialization. If you think about it in current today, our big cities, it's kind of the same idea. On the outskirts of the cities or the suburbs, you go into the big city for a night out or to go to the market or to, things like that to get the train, the bus. It's kind of the same idea. So ancient city dwellers are depending on trade as a way of life as they move forward and forward into to life. Specialized workers. Labor starts to become specialized. Again, we moved away from the idea of everyone's hunting or gathering. Yes, I guess that technically is a little bit of a specialization, but now we're starting to see with food surpluses, as I said before, people can specialize their skills because not everybody has to help out with farming and food production. Now specific skills of these workers are being developed. So your abundant food supply allows people to become experts at jobs besides farming. So we start to see artisans and craftspeople pop up, and they begin creating goods by hand, and then they sell them at market. And these goods show both their skill as well as their artistic ability. Complex institutions. Institutions start to emerge throughout these civilizations, and some of the examples of these could be government, religion, and the economy. Governments are established to create laws, they maintain order, religion becomes a formal institution, and temples actually become not only a place for religion, but also for government and for trade as well. Record keeping. All ancient civilizations had some way of keeping records. In the earliest days, we used hieroglyphics. If you were in the Egyptian culture, pictograms are used, where it's pictures instead of words. But we saw in the past that different groups needed things to be written down. Government needed to keep track of who's paying their taxes. Yes, they paid taxes way back when. They needed to write down, here's what are the laws, the regulations, things like that. Priests, they needed to keep track of the calendar. What day is it? And they also needed to keep track of important rituals and when they fell and how they took place. So there became a need for scribes. Scribes become basically our professional record keepers. And in Sumer, they invent around 3000 BCE this writing system known as cuneiform. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But this is basically the first written language that we have on file. So it was huge. People also start to begin to write about other things that are happening in the civilization and in the city around them. This is kind of for the first time as well. They start to write about, wars and the natural disasters that might be occurring. Flooding was very common back then, or the reign of the king. All of these things. So we start keeping track of what daily life was like. And it's great for us in the future because now we can look back and say, this is what life was like. We can kind of piece it together. Lastly, we have improved technology. So new tools and techniques, just like today, make work easier. Obviously, this computer that I'm recording this on, my iPhone, whatever, makes life it makes it easier. It was the same thing back in the day. So we saw it with farming. They harness the power of animals and nature, trying not to do everything all by yourself. You use the tools around you. So for example, they use ox-drawn plows to turn the soil instead of trying to dig it up by hand. They use the horsepower, we'll say, even though it's ox power, to drive that plow. They, as we said before, they installed irrigation systems to help with the planting and to create more food. Around 3500 BCE, we see the first potter's wheel being used. It's crafting jugs, plates, bowls. So think about tableware, things like that. So that's new technology. And then in 3000 BCE, we see what becomes known as the Bronze Age. This occurs in Sumer in 3500 BCE. In other parts of the world, it might have taken a couple more years here or there for them to experience it. But basically they figured out in Sumer that if they melted down some copper and tin together, they created bronze. And bronze was much stronger. So instead of using copper and stone for tools and weapons, now they're using it with bronze. So they're advancing their technology. It can help them fight off intruders. It can help them with daily tools that they need to complete their specialized tasks. So again, we've been talking about the importance of civilizations and what goes into creating a civilization, what the key characteristics are. So make sure you have this in your interactive notebook and check back with the next lesson for the next page. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.